Hey guys, welcome back to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan, and in today's video I'm going to be hooking up my water pump system. That worked out good. You're not even in the shot, you damn it. So these three things are hooked up. Cool. So once the water comes out of my accumulator tank, it's going to come in right here, and it's going to go down this pipe. It'll feed both the hot and cold. This doesn't matter which one's which. One of them is going to go to a propane on-demand heater, and that'll go through the house. The other one will go to the cold lines, and that's where I'm transitioning to half-inch pipe. I also installed a pressure gauge so I can figure out if my pump's turning on at the correct time and if the accumulator tank, what the pressure is basically in the whole system. And then I have another T right here, and this is going to go out the house to a ball, I want to call it a cock, but it's not, Sillcock, yeah. And this T right here, this goes down and it sticks out the bottom because this is going to be mounted right here on the floor. That T is going to go to this Sillcock on the outside of the house, and then I have a shutoff valve on the end of the line. In case I want to add something later, I can come in. I was thinking about doing the first ever tiny house sprinkler system, and if I do that, my sprinkler system will come off of this line right here. This system will pump water to the outside of the house out this Sillcock. But what I was thinking is, if I'm at a place with water, I can screw on, a fitting right here and then screw a hose into it, open this and turn the water on, and it'll fill this. If I shut this valve off right here, the water won't go into the accumulator tank and it won't go back into the system. It'll just feed the house. So this will work for both on-grid, and then it'll work for my off-grid system. So I need to crimp all these fittings, and then I'm going to build like a little small half-ass wall, and I'm going to nail this onto the wall. I'll connect this pipe into there. But right now I'm going to go and install this Sillcock. Now I won't be able to get back there where this is coming in. I mean, I could, but it's going to be kind of difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this on right here now, crimp it in, and I just have a long pipe on it. I'll drill my hole, I'll stick it through the hole, and I'll fasten this on the outside, and then I can come inside and I can cut it to length where it dies into my panel here. So I drilled a hole on the inside of the house above where it needs to go, and I measured down to where it's got to go, which is about 1.5 feet. So if I go directly below that, pray that I don't hit any plumbing. I went on the inside and made sure that the pipe was in the right spot. So this, I'm just going to level it. Put 2 screws. So I was doing some research, and apparently there's a backflow preventer in this system so that water can't go back in. That'll take some thinking, but I might have to change that head out so that I can backflow the house. So I did some research. There's a backflow preventer so water won't go back into the system. I believe that's a law, and the reason is so that you don't backflow contaminated water into a public system. I think this is the backflow preventer. There could be one inside of the pipe, I'm not really sure. So what I did is I got this thing right here, this plug, which is going to get screwed into there. And then I also bought this right here, which will be a female to female, so I can screw this on here and turn this. So what happens is the water goes down this pipe and it pushes this up against the stop. This is one of those anti-freeze pipes, so it shuts the water off way inside. So this would screw in and it would tighten down on that, and if it were closed, when it's open, it allows water to come out, but it won't allow water to go back in. So my theory is I need to get this to stick right here, and it should be good. So I took this out. There's a spring behind it which was pushing it towards the thing. So I glued that in with some PL glue. I'm gonna let that harden and then I can install it, and I'll show you how that works out. Ready? It's working, and I'm scared. A valve's open in the basement. So there was a valve open in the crawl space. As soon as I shut it, my pressure gauge shot up to 60 psi, and all my fittings down there worked in between the pressure tank, the accumulator tank, and this right here. It might be illegal to do this. It probably is, because the government makes backflow preventers mandatory on all fittings. Peanut to Mr. Groundhog.
I'll kill it. I'll rip its head off.
So now what I have to do is connect all these pipes together. PEX is really, really easy to work with. I was concerned about it, but the other thing I find challenging is holding the pipes where they gotta go while you're crimping them. I mean, it was all organized. I think I just f***ed up. Yeah, I did just f*** up. Now here's the question, can you take these things off? So I installed this piece of pipe in the wrong spot, so I need to cut this off. They sell a tool that'll break this fitting. You cut it on both sides, but it was like $20 for the tool, and I don't plan on doing this more than this one time, hopefully. So I'm not going to go buy that tool. Personally, I think like a Dremel tool with a metal cutting disc on it, just cut into it a little bit on both ends and it'll just pop off. I don't have a Dremel tool because I think that's a useless tool. So I'm just going to use my angle grinder, hopefully. Garbage. So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos last night, and it looks like I'm doing everything right. You just want to make sure that it's perfectly square when you're doing it. I didn't really explain why I ran it like this. When water's flowing, if you were to turn on the hot water and then turn the cold water on, this helps make these have equal pressure. If you were to just have it come up and tee off of it without a loop in it, this is going to get more pressure than this one. So I made this really crappy wall right there to mount this onto. Now since this pipe, the fitting is basically in the wall, what I need to do is crimp this on while the piece of plywood's out, and then I can take the piece of plywood and slide it down just like that, and then I can mount this onto it. So right now I can cut all my pipes to the correct length, or at least this one. I'm going to cut this one out. So this pipe's just going to get cut flush with the plywood. So I was reading the instructions on the crimping tool, and I think I've been doing it completely wrong the entire time, but this is a go or no go. Right now the fitting won't slide into the 3/4. When you look at it really close, there's a line right here. You want the ring to stop on that line. You don't want the ring to go all the way up to the top. If it goes all the way up to the top, then you crimped it too much. I also found that there's an adjustment on this crimping tool. If you want to make it crimp harder, you can adjust this right here to crimp tighter or looser. Alright, so I mounted that piece of plywood on there, and I put the fittings in there and I crimped those on, and I mounted my panel. I don't know what it would be called, a distribution panel maybe. I also changed this so that it would come up straight here so I wouldn't take up valuable space. Just had to get 2 more fittings and crimp those on. Overall it's good. I just have to wire in this pump, which I think I'll make in a separate video, so that video will be in the description below if you want to check that out. So the pump I originally bought was a 12 volt pump. To convert 120 to 12 volt costs some money that I don't want to spend. That pump was like $60 or $70. The 120 volt pump costs $70 plus 10 for shipping, so $80. So I took that out and I'm going to return it and get the 120 volt pump. Same thing, same specs, 3.5 gallons a minute, 45 psi instead of 55 psi, which is just going to reduce my water usage, which is fine by me. I wired in the crawl space. It's completely wired out. I got a light underneath the water tank so I can check to see how much water's there. I have this, which would be a light right here, which are operated by 2 separate switches there. Also installed a switch for this wire right here, so I'll switch on that, as well as 2 outlets to plug things in. So I'm going to finish roughing the plumbing in after this floor is on. I want to get this floor on so I can get all this stuff up over here, and I can start working on that floor over there. Next week, next video, we'll be doing this floor, all this stuff right here. I'll show you how I did all that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought. And if you want to show me some love, click right up there and show your support. Thanks so much for watching, guys. 12 voltage, 12 VDC. What the f does VDC mean? Sounds like venereal disease or something.